Welcome to humanity. This is our one.
Whatever it takes, we got to say whatever it takes is what it took.
This is Brock Lesnar, and you're listening to FightNet Radio.
Hi, this is Manny Pacquiao. I'll fight anybody on FightNetRadio.com.
But it's a fact. You know what I mean? How dare them even challenge me, these fighters? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? With their primitive boxing skills. You know what I mean? They're as good as dead.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio, where I'm on my third take and the original recorder trying to be fancy. Hi, everybody. This is your preview show, Klitschko versus Joshua, where Andrew and I have now discussed it for the better part of 30 minutes already to bring you one 30-minute show, 1 hour to record 30 minutes. The choice. How are you first, Andrew?
Doing good, Lee. Woke up excited today.
Really? Are you
Yes.
excited about this fight?
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is the new beginning, I believe. I'm nervous. I am nervous, especially because I seen Joshua was smaller, a lot smaller. It didn't seem like they were just 1 inch apart. But yeah, this is it, Lee. 1:30 today. We're gonna see if we have a new heavyweight king or if the old king is gonna become one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yes, and then my audio changed. I'm just having a great time with all.
It's a good morning. It is a good morning.
It's a good morning for recording this show. So I apologize to everybody for the tough technical difficulties along the way. If you watch the weigh-ins, you watch the hype. Like, there's a lot of hype on social media.
Looked like there was 40,000 at the weigh-ins, Lee.
Yeah, this is happening. This is really a 90,000 seat fight. 40,000 people show up for the weigh-in. I am telling, well, maybe because my social media is designed to watch for boxing updates. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of hype on this fight.
Anthony Joshua is on the brink of becoming a superstar. Look, I've told you this 2 times now. I'm going to go for a 3rd time, Lee. To me, this is Ali Liston all over again. You know, Joshua is 1 win away from being the kingpin of this division. This looks like the hardest opponent in his future. He gets past Klitschko. I don't see too many other guys being put in front of this guy that can stop his reign as the heavyweight king. And he has a lot of opponents out there. They do not look like they're him right now. And if he beats Klitschko today, they're definitely not him after that fight.
Okay,
so,
hold on.
ahead.
First off, explain to me why you're so hyped up about Joshua.
I've been since
What
he
has
started.
he done?
You know,
Which
we've
has
been
he-
on the Joshua.
What has he done? What has he technically done? I'm going to have the paper champ argument here.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Okay,
and that's why I'm getting
gonna
nervous.
say this. I'm on the bandwagon. I'll say it right at the top. Because if you follow me on Twitter at Lee Honish, you will know that I've already stated I don't know how you turn down plus 220 to take Klitschko. I don't know how you turn down, depending on where you bet it, 14-1 to take Klitschko to win by a knockout. I don't know how you don't take those odds.
Wow. That 14-1, yeah, I wouldn't walk past that. Because if it does happen, I believe he is going to stop Joshua. Joshua will be too young. He's going to freeze up when he gets hurt, and Klitschko will end this fight. So that 14-1, whoever can get major odds on Klitschko by knockout is a very live bet today, because we do not know how Joshua is going to react in this magnitude of a fight. Listen, people, Wladimir Klitschko has been here before. This is not the first undefeated prospect, future of the heavyweight division that he has taken out. All right, this man has beaten at least 12 undefeated fighters in his career. That's what puts him up there with being one of the great heavyweights right now. After tonight, possibly the greatest. Possibly the greatest.
Before we have the discussion of the greatest, I'm now going to punch holes in the Klitschko thing. First of all, Klitschko's a clunky fighter. He's a long jabbing, clutching, big right hand swinging.
He's a big man,
guy.
yeah.
He's a big man, right?
Yep.
He pushes his opponents off of him. When they come in too close, he grabs them. He throws a very big, nasty right hand. What about ring rust? I mean, you're talking about a better than a year layoff for a guy who was active every 3 months, whether or not he wanted to be.
And that's going to tell us a lot. The ring rust, the age, his last two performances, I believe Bryant Jennings, Tyson Fury, both went to decisions. Jennings, he beat. No one thought Jennings should have went 12. And then and in Tyson Fury, he lost a decision. But a very, very boring fight. It wasn't like Tyson Fury blew the doors off when he defeated Klitschko in that first one. So yes, Lee, this is what's going to tell us. But see the difference in this fight and then in the last two, they weren't superstars. There wasn't this type of magnitude. I'm telling you, I believe Klitschko woke up early this morning thinking about this fight. I don't think he slept good last night thinking about this fight. This is the fight that puts him over the top, puts him and his brother's last name into that place where they've always knew they were supposed to be. Okay, you're talking. Look at. You say he's big and clumsy. I can tell you he might be the most dominant big heavyweight man we've ever seen. And just that simple fact alone puts him as a favorite against some of the rest. If he knocks out Anthony Joshua, defeats Anthony Joshua today, I don't know if the heavyweights of the past ever fought men this size, 6'6", 6'7", 330 pounds, 340 pounds of solid muscle. Yeah, a lot of the heavyweights back in the day, 6'3", 6'5", 6'2". Wasn't Joe Louis like 6'1" or something?
Yeah.
How big was Marciano?
Marciano was 5'6".
Yeah.
Standing on a box, he was 5'6".
Come on, Lee. Like you know, I don't know if these guys can go 12 with Klitschko. And today, that almost solidifies it if he can knock out this another huge undefeated prospect. 12 of them, you guys. I believe this is number 13. I really do. Someone need to go fact check me on that. But I think this is number 13 on undefeated fighters in one champion's run. We've never seen that.
Okay, well then let's have this discussion, which is, what has Joshua legitimately done to be in this position? I get the hype in his country.
Yes.
And I get that he's knocking people out within, what's his average, 3 rounds or 4 rounds? Like, it's some ridiculous knockout ratio. But I would expect that out of an Olympian, right? We're talking about
gold medal winner.
We're talking about 2 Olympians, right?
Yes.
These guys are mirror images of each other. And I'm telling everybody that Klitschko at Joshua's age was not the Klitschko of today. You know, Klitschko of that age had to go through a great deal of adversity. And I would argue that Klitschko at that age had a shaky chin because nobody had hit him yet. And we used to have that argument, right? Even 10 years ago when we were having the Klitschko debate, we weren't sure what he was capable of in deep water, and that he got himself into trouble. And then for whatever reason, whatever training style change Klitschko made, he became a different fighter.
Possibly Manny Stewart.
Possibly. I don't know what it was that changed Klitschko himself. But there was a period of time when we recorded this show where we couldn't understand the hype around Klitschko either.
True, and that was on strength of competition, Lee. That was on the 2 knockout defeats. But after 10 years of reigning as the heavyweight king, and like I said, dropping as many, because I mean, all right, look, David Haye wasn't undefeated, but he had only 1 defeat when he faced Klitschko. There's many. Not only does he have undefeated guys, but he had guys with records of 35-1, 28-1. You know, like he's done way too much to say that he's not who he is right now. And that's what changed for Klitschko. It's the longevity of how long he was on top. And this cap just puts a cap on everything. I mean, this kid, Joshua, he's a gold medal winner. He's undefeated. He's good looking. And yes, people, that matters. You get a way bigger fan base when you have a market that can sell tickets to men and women. So everyone loves this kid right now, right? I've described him. Everyone has described him as the new Lennox Lewis. That's why this fight for Klitschko is so big. That's why Joshua is in this moment that he is. And Lee, When you look at fighters as they're coming up in the rankings, you don't really look at the person they're fighting, but you're looking how the guy that's the prospect dismantles or beats the journeyman, the stepping stone. Joshua has passed all of his tests with A's. Okay, when you only go 3 rounds, when you knock out everybody that they put in front of you, including the IBF champ, I believe he knocked out in 2, Charles Martin. Dominic Breezel was undefeated, knocked him out. This is why he got this moment with Klitschko. Now, are they rushing it? We're going to know that in a few hours here.
Right, and that's the argument. I mean, when I look at Klitschko...
They wanted that money.
And I look at the history of Klitschko, and all of you guys who are on the train of Joshua, I get it. I get we're an international show, but I want you to understand you're talking about literally decades of dominance over a top 10, starting with Axel Schultz, and working his way up, destroying Chris Bird on multiple occasions, destroying Ray Mercer, destroying Franz Botha, then getting stopped remarkably by Corey Sanders and Lamont Brewster in the early aughts, right? Where then it turns around and he goes through Peters, Bird, Brock, Austin, Brewster. I even remember the debate over Sultan Ibrahimagov. Tony Thompson, who Andrew, trust me, at the time, because he was an American, was all over Tony Thompson.
Can't beat American boxers, Lee.
Right? You were all over it. Klitschko's in for the biggest test. On to beat Hasim Rahman, Shagayev, Chambers, Peters, Hayes, Mormick. My Lord. Thompson again.
No.
He doesn't take on anybody really till 2013 when he beats Povetkin, Pulev, Brian Jennings, for God's sakes. He dominant. We're talking about 2 decades. I would argue 1998 forward. So you're talking the aughts and then 2010 forward. That's close to 20 years. If he beats Joshua, you're talking about 20 years of taking out people in the top 10.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
And
Longevity.
How is he not going to be considered the greatest of all time? How do you not call him the greatest heavyweight of all time?
The haters will. I think the experts won't. I really do. I think the people that matter when they look back in the history will have to put Wladimir Klitschko up in the top of the tier with, and you know, it doesn't matter what number they put you at when they say you're one of the greatest. You can say top 3, you say top 5, and that's still a huge mark for any fighter. But yeah, I don't know how a guy who's 6'1" goes up against a guy who's 6'6", 6'7", and has been undefeated.
He's a machine. He's a
right?
literal machine.
Right?
Now, and I want to make
Holyfield,
this really clear. The only thing Joshua's done, in my opinion, to be at this point where he's the real deal, right? Don't get me wrong. He picked up all the titles. He picked up the IBF champion, and he beat Dominic Breezel. Okay? That's it. That's it.
I know.
That's
why I'm a little bit nervous this morning.
And don't get me wrong, Dylan White and Dominic Breezel are both worthy opponents. And this is a guy who's knocking out O's, right? Gary Cornish is 21-0 going into that fight. Dylan White is 16-0 going into that fight. Dominic Breezel is 17-0 going into that fight. I'm not going to give you Eric Molina.
Nah.
A heavy wind would have beaten Eric Molina.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
to defend the IBF.
Wilder beat Molina. Oh, just kidding, Deontay. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
He's taking a lot of heat. You see, Mike Tyson even said Joshua was better than him this week.
Joshua's better than everybody in the heavyweight division, except for, I don't get how Joshua's the favorite. What am I missing?
The star power. I think the star power
power has nothing to do when the board's open. Has got nothing to do
They will make a lot of money off of people betting him as the favorite, and then they lose. You see, the casino doesn't lose as much. Sometimes when you look at the odds, you got to think of who's getting the most money because sometimes that will dictate who's the favorite